future generations. This past spring and summer of 1991, 24 elders have agreed to talk to us. Their stories and pictures are fascinating. They talk about earlier days in the Tulalip Reservation. They speak fondly of their families, parents, and grandparents. More than 30 hours of videotape have been recorded so far. Here's a glimpse of what the elders have been telling us.
Well, that song is when they welcome the people into the potlatch hall.
Well, this potlatch was a great big long building. I would say it must have been about over 150 feet and about 75, 80 feet wide, where they housed all these Indians on each side and along the middle.
Do you know when they tore it down?
Oh, long about after the 20s, about the 30s.
The Indian people knew all the things. They had different words for different seasons. But Tuss, springtime. Pudhudub is now summertime. Kaib is fall. Saltus is winter. They knew those words because of changing the seasons.
Because he spoke the language. He could speak the Skokomish, he could speak the Muckleshoot and the Tahola, and then he could speak on to the other languages of what's called Queets and the whole river. Each one of them have just a different little dialect to their language. And my grandfather used to talk to them, you know, by just changing a slight dialect and could speak their language right with them.
Indian language must be something like Spanish or some of the, because they say things in reverse to what we do, because she would turn things around. She called, instead of ladies' club, she called it club ladies.
I understood my mother to say they lived a lot up there at Pilchuck River. They lived up there and they went up, she'd talk about riding the horse bareback along the river. And they talked about, spearing the fish in the Pilchuck River.
They were river people, yes, and they fished right on the river. So they had plenty of everything. They were, in the terms of the Caucasians today, they were like billionaires. I remember them having like a mussel bake down on the beach. I don't know what that was for, though.
A mussel bake?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I always remember those mussels and wish for some.
At one time, that table is sacred. You can't tell jokes. You can't tell nothing. But just be quiet.
You either went to school at the Indian boarding school, or you didn't go to school, because distance and getting to school was a major problem.
Oh, yeah, I started school I can even remember that first day I went to school. I had to walk past this pear tree, and I liked pears so well, so I picked one up and brought it into the schoolroom, and the teacher, her name was Miss Smith. She told me I couldn't eat in the schoolroom, so I chowed down as fast as I could and threw it in the rest in the waste paper basket.
I think my first employment was with the Tulalip tribe as their clerk, and that was in the early 40s.
Later on, after I became 21, I became an associate judge, and believe it or not, was a judge for a few years here, too.
But when an old person talks, you were to listen. Because when they told you something, it was history. My grandmother from here, she'd say, when I tell you something, it's to tell your children's children's children's.
to the hills. Because I'm glad that you come.
We're glad to have the privilege of interviewing our elders. We hope this project continues.
And now the next